21 players, which is nice to be up to a more reasonable number after the holiday season. Already into our action here. On the left, we've got Rick Pittman, fresh off an 11th place finish at the Comic Town PTQ last weekend, which was a 330-plus player 5K tournament, playing a Mono Blue Devotion, splashing white for Detention Sphere. And his opponent is the streamer regular Alec Myers, who, as always, is playing his Colossal Gruul deck. My name, as always, is Zachary Evans. I'm joined tonight by Nick Beckvar, who is the... no one can see you when you wave. That's always fun for me.
That's awesome. I'm waving to you guys and you can't see
Nick
me.
visiting us because we've got the big goings on here tomorrow in West Virginia, as we have the first PTQ we've had in about 4 years, ever since Star City stopped running them, and they switched to store-sponsored PTQs. But we'll be vending tomorrow at the PTQ. Nick, of course, the proprietor of AffinityForCards.com, one of our loyal stream supporters. So glad to have Nick here.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here. I like your enthusiasm.
Delightful 5-hour drive.
Not too bad.
Through the scenic snow.
Yeah, it did snow a lot here. For those of you who are not located in the Appalachian or Midwest region, it snowed, well, I think the scientific term is a metric butt ton over the last couple of days, and it's going to be massively cold here over the next 3 days. So we are going to struggle. So Alec lands a Chandra Pyremaster off some Mana Dorks, reveals a Scavenging Ooze off the Zero ability. He's floating mana from a Burning Tree Emissary here. He was considering activating Racked Nykthos, which he does now. For a Garruk Caller of Beasts, Alec Myers has resolved more Planeswalkers in the history of our stream than anyone else. At one point, he was playing a Naya mid-range deck and had 4 Planeswalkers out at one time, which alludes back to like old Super Friend deck days.
Yep.
It's fun to have 4 Planeswalkers in a deck that doesn't have blue in it. Like, doesn't make any sense. But there are some good ones to play currently, so... Rick is going to be up against it here. Rick did mold a 6 in this game. He's landed a Nightveil Spectre, but nothing much to follow up. And,
It's a lot versus a little.
yeah, he's a long way off of Cyclonic Rift mana. Well, this Gruul deck, if you remember back to the Pro Tour when they interviewed Makihiro Mahara, he kept insisting in his interview that this was not a mid-range deck, it was a combo deck. And it very much is a combo deck, because there's... the draws you have with Nykthos are just ridiculous. The Traveling Satyr draws and the Burning Tree Chains. So a Bident comes down, and Nightveil Spectre steals another copy of Garruk Caller of Beasts. Alec's going to be somewhat excited that that Garruk is no longer on the top of his deck to get drawn. So we're going to plus Garruk here, revealing a Xenagos, a land, a Nylea, and a Pelucranos. Alec's hand is so much gas. Burning Tree into Burning Tree.
Here comes the explosion.
What's that? It's
Like
not
those for 50.
Yeah, so
2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
yeah.
Right?
In which he's going to choose to Arbor Colossus, killing the Nightveil Spectre.
Yeah.
Going to tick up his Chandra and serve in with surprisingly just 2 creatures, but it's the next attack that's going to be the end of this game. Standard has set itself up. Question in the chat about whether or not, or what the conversion rate is between a metric butt ton and a metric butt load. That, of course, is 3.
Censored.
It's 3. There's a Thassa a little bit, not a little bit, incredibly too little too late.
I don't know, he could crawl back in this. that Bident over there. Is that
Well,
a Bident?
yeah, Biden is normally, I don't know how many Rick is playing in his main deck. Biden is one of those cards that the mono blue decks seem to differ on. There's about 55 cards in the mono blue deck that are standard, and then a couple flex spots where they all alternate between how many rapid hybridizations, cyclonic rifts, and Bidents that they play in their main deck. So we're going to Monstrous our Arbor Colossus. We're going to serve in with the team here. Nylea on board. So they all get trample at a minimum. We're going to... No, the Thassa is active here. So before damage, we're going to activate Nykthos to do what?
Let's pump it into Nylea.
Yeah, what's Nylea's activation?
Let's find out.
This is a heck of a magic card. It's amazing how much better that one is versus the rest of them.
Target creature gets +2/+2 till end of turn. So he's got a good 4 activations, maybe?
At a minimum. It's probably much more than that, actually, but at a minimum...
Assuming that's what's going on.
Yeah, that's exactly what's going on. So there is Nylea. 4 mana. You can give something +2/+2. Of course, they all have trample anyway. So at the end of the day, there, the math works out that Alec wins a game that he was going to win inevitably anyway. But he officially won on this turn. So Alec moves up in game. It's amazing for Standard not really having any true combo decks. There are a lot of games that are won by one deck having a nut draw that you can't interact with. Even like the black deck kind of has some like turn 1 Thoughtseize, turn 2 Pack Rat. Like sometimes decks can't beat that. So it's very interesting to see the way that works out. We want to take this time like we do every week after the first game of the first round to thank the fine folks here at Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia for letting us hijack their FNM and broadcast it to you all over the world. Lost Legion has 4 locations here in West Virginia, in Princeton, Beckley, South Charleston, and Parkersburg. I mention those every week. Been doing this for like 16 months. I mention this every week. No one knows where any of those places are, but they are conveniently located a couple hours away from places like Lexington, Roanoke, Columbus, and the like. So if you're ever in this region, for example, at the PTQ, like we got some people visiting in. Nick, not the only person who made the trip down for the event tomorrow. Make sure to play FNM here at Lost Legion and support those who support the stream. We also want to thank the fine folks at inktoplaymats.com who hooked us up with this sweet double playmat. Custom, in fact, so if you want any custom playmats of your own, single or double, or just want to buy some cool playmats for prices as low as $10 each, head over to inkedplaymats.com. And of course, I encourage people every week to support their local game store, but we all know that there are cards you need for Modern, Legacy, and Commander decks that you just can't find in your local display case. And if that's the case, head over to affinityforcards.com for some of the best prices on the internet. Or visit Nick at the Affinity for Cards booth, not only tomorrow at the West Virginia PTQ, but at various other Midwest PTQs throughout the year. Anything lined up as far as spots to stop at in the coming months?
Not for the next few months, because unfortunately Saturdays are a little busy for me. Yeah.
For example, drumming.
Yeah. Can't go to these PTQs.
Chaotix MTG is saying I don't know cold. I cannot remember where Chaotix MTG is located, but I'm going to assume Canada or Minnesota. Alright, so we're off into game 2. Rick on the play, which is very important, obviously, in this battle of tempo versus ramp. And each starting off, I guess, as best as they can. Rick with a Cloudfin Raptor, and Alec with an Elvish Mystic.
Turn 2 Tidebinder.
That is the best into a turn 3 Thassa. No, turn 3 Night Veil into turn 4 Thassa. No, turn 3 Thassa into turn 4 Night Veil. There it is.
Taking 2 from the shock.
Yep, again, Rick's White Splash is 4. I believe 2 Detention Spheres in the main deck, and a couple of Rootborn Defenses in the side. That is his secret tech. And obviously treated him reasonably well, like I said, finishing 11th at that giant Comic Town PTQ.
I guess he can populate the 01 or 1
elemental token. I don't really think he cares about that aspect of it. I think it's the not letting all your creatures die is the part that he likes. So Rick finds a Mutavault here. We have another Tidebinder. Yep, so a great draw from Rick here, tapping down the Scavenging Ooze. So we've got a Mystic and an Ooze tied down here, and we're taking hits from the now 2/3 Cloudfin Raptor. Alec lands 3 as a Domri coming up. I guess at this point you could Domri fight your Emissary versus the Tidebinder. Depending on your hand, untap your mana source. Or if you don't have any business in that regard, you could trade your Emissary for the Tidebinder, untap your Ooze. I assume this is Domri.
Fighting.
Yep. Well, the fighting was inevitable. I think that's the only card in this deck that costs 3. But we're choosing to take out the Tidebinder. That's tapping down.
Oh, the Mystic.
I assume it's the Mystic.
So the other Tidebinder is just a 2/2 now.
Yeah, Tidebinder is one of those cards that's so good when it's good and like so bad when it's not. It is. That's the problem with the mono blue devotion deck. You have to play some bad cards. You just have to play some.
Like Cloudfin Raptor.
I was correct. Chaotix is located in Alberta, Canada. So some of the coldest parts of Canada. So 3 mana, 4 Thassa. So this is one, like I said, 1 Nightveil Spectre away from being basically the nuts here. That will not.
Yeah, not evolving. It's not active.
But it's still enough to take out the Domri because we had the minus. So I think Alec's going to be content with that. Untaps his Mystic, lands a Pelucranos. Obviously, the reason he wanted to free up his mana source. But now Rick's in a good spot here. Scrying with his Thassa. Looks like a Rift in his hand. And he draws looks like a Rapid Hybridization, which is a super blowout against Pelucranos.
A little bit.
Although Alec is far away from. I don't really see Alec monstrousing it anytime soon. I guess you could for. You'd really want to get it up to 3 so you could take out that Cloudfin Raptor, but another land, he could do it for 2, take out the Tidebinder. We gotta get in there. And it's very interesting that Rick's hand is basically all reactive cards, so unable to turn on his Thassa. The longer the game goes, the better off Alec is going to be, I figure. There's a Xenagos. Can make 3 mana with it if he wants to, or can just pop out a Satyr. And in fact, he is going to make some mana. And he's going to serve in with his Emissary, knowing that Rick is unlikely to block because he needs that. He doesn't need the 2/2 so much as he needs the 2 blue mana symbols. Rick getting a read on Xenagos. Of course, it's plus makes mana. It's 0 makes a Satyr. Mini Primal Surge for its ultimate. Ultimate is not very good on Xenagos, actually. So serving again the Cloudfin Raptor here. So Rick, I can't make out what the cards are in his hand, but I can only imagine what they are. Scrying with the Temple of Abandon, leaving it on top. So some business coming for Alec here.
Probably a land.
On top?
Yeah. It's Nykthos.
Well, if it is a land, it's Nykthos. Or Nykthos. Choose your poison. I think the best card at this point would be, what, Mizzy Mortars, maybe? Mizzy Mortars puts Rick so far behind. Not that he's not behind here. We're going to have to hybridize the Pelucranos at this point.
So he's got to start doing something. He can't just.
And see, now Rick's at the point where, like, he has to blink first because he has to hybridize the Pelucranos, otherwise he's taking 5. And if he hybridizes in response, Alec can kill his Tidebinder. You know what I mean?
He's just taking it.
Yep.
Interesting.
And Alec, very aware of rapid hybridization, is not playing into that potential blowout.
So he spent 2 turns not doing anything with his 4 mana.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
His draw is weird.
Pretty rough.
There's his 5th land. Is it Bident? Oh, Master of Ways. So there's a Master of Ways for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So he wasn't playing that probably to keep open
Hybridization.
hybridization.
Yeah. But here's an interesting thing, and we'll see how good a Magic player Alec is. Alec is a very good Magic player, but this is tricky. If he activates Pelucranos for 1, he still bones Rick. Because in response to the hybridization, he can activate it again. And he has the mana to do that, so it'll be very interesting to see if that happens. If that does happen, I'm going to lose my mind, and it's definitely highlight of the week. I'm closing it early.
Yeah, he just wheels it. He already knew it was there.
Yep, so Alec makes a giant...
Oh, hybridizes a token.
Yep. So Rapid Hybridization makes a green token that you can block with. So smart play from Rick there, saving himself from immediate death. Yep. It is just a green Frog Lizard, so you do get around the Pro Blue on the Mistcutter, but Rick basically has to win this turn.
Hey y'all, just want to come in and say hi.
Hello, Aaron.
Bye.
Goodbye, Aaron. So scrying with Thassa. Bring it to hand here. There's no way Rick can force through 11 damage here, can he? He's got 2 unblockable through the air. He can make, if he didn't draw land, which I don't think he did, he can only make 2 creatures unblockable. So he could get his Thassa in for 5. He could get a Tidebinder in for 2. The Flyer makes 7. He would need to get 4 damage through. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3.
He would need 2 damage. 5 from Thassa, 2 from another unblockable, 2 from the Fire.
That's 7.
And then
That's 9. He would need 2. Yeah, he wins.
2.
Yeah, he wins here. He just needs to make things unblockable.
He has a Mutavault too. He would need another mana to activate that.
No, but isn't he just dead here? He makes his Thassa unblockable, he makes his Tidebinder unblockable, and then he attacks with everything.
He really only needs to make Thassa unblockable. He's got enough to... He's got 4 tokens.
He's got 5 tokens. Yeah, I don't know if Rick if there's something I'm not seeing here, but it looks like it's just an obvious win, right? So make Thassa unblockable, make the Tidebinder unblockable.
Or just bounce creature. Whatever. Send it to team.
So that's 10 from 1, 2, 3, 4 from tokens. So that's 10, 15. So 7
Those are 2
unblockable. Joining us from all the way from Columbus. Not nearly as far as.
All the way from Columbus.
Oh, they're already playing? My bad. Alright, so most importantly here, Alec on the play here. All tied up in round 1 with the turn 2 Voyaging Satyr. Rick, more importantly, does not have a turn 1 Raptor. That Raptor did a lot of work in the last game. And then Alec with the turn 3 Domri. Drawing an Arbor Colossus.
No third land, bro.
It's not uncommon actually for the Gruul,
Elvish Mystic.
for the Gruul deck to whiff on lands here. We see a Nykthos in Rick's hand. How many? I guess it depends on the deck, but how many Nykthos does the mono blue deck run? Like 1, maybe 2?
I think so.
Because it's not really all in on the Nykthos
it's
plan.
I think it's 1.
And there is a Thassa on 2. Just attacking into Alec there, not going to make any dent really into Domri. So we're going to try and draw another card here. We're going to try and fight. We can.
Rapid Hybridization Thassa and it doesn't kill it?
Oh yeah, that's much better play.
Huh. That's sweet.
Even sweeter is playing, finding your third land playing a Plukernos, fighting with Domri, taking out the Frostburn Weird. So Rick behind here. With the mana he has in play, he can't cast a Night Veil Spectre. He does keep the card off the top via Scry, but he's facing down a pretty dominant board state from Alec. That Domri is going to give him a lot of card advantage. And Domri is another one of those cards that helps answer Master of Waves by being able to fight with a green creature.
Man, that's sick. I can't get over that.
What?
Rapid Hybridization in your Thassa.
Yep.
It's a 1-mana 3/3.
It's pretty good. Instant speed, too. Are you saying you'd play that card?
Thassa has to be a creature, but...
Yeah, but it was correctly active.
This just shows you how much Magic I play these
What
days.
shows you how good stream regular Joao in Portugal is? He's the man. My man sent me 2 Wirewood Symbiotes gratis one time because I need them for L's. So he's a stream fan numero uno. So there's a 4th land and a Frostburn Weird. But still, at least 1 turn away at a minimum from activating Thassa here. Alec untapping with a Pelukrinos in play. No shenanigans, just serving in with Pelukrinos here. I assume Rick just takes 5 here, right? I mean, you could, yeah, that's true. You could hybridize it as well. Alec ticks up. Domri finds a Scavenging Ooze. Still hasn't played that Mystic from. Well, there you go. Well, he didn't have a spot for it. And there is another Mystic, and we still have enough mana to cast the Ooze. Yep. So just get it all out there. Creature's not nearly as good as Thassa, but in volume, they still get the job done. You see, it was an interesting play too. Rick chose to play Thassa on 3 rather than pump his Weird to go at Domri. Yep. Who's open? We're full. The Broom Closet has a strict 3-person maximum. That's from JB. He doesn't want 1,000 people in here, and then the place catch on fire and we all die. Silly JB being a dad.
Heaven forbid the door can't open.
Yeah, you can climb out the top. I don't know if you noticed that. But yeah, so he didn't have Frostburn Weird. You have to have hybrid blue-red mana, right? So he could have pumped it to a 3, and it still would have taken out Domri, but it would have ticked him down to 1. So Rick just chose to attack Alec directly there. So 2 mana, we're going to bounce something here. We're going to Tidebinder the Pelukrinos. Yep, Tidebinder on Pelukrinos.
Thassa's active too.
Thassa is active. Rick flipping a Mutavault, a land, and a Cyclonic Rift in his hand. So not looking great as far as backup gas from Rick. But of course Thassa is such a strong card. He
Does
just
Rift cost 6 to overload?
7. So he can do that next turn. Because he has found his...
Oh, does he have a Nykthos?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Seems like a good next turn for Rick.
Yeah, I put him really far behind.
Being able to overload. I think that's pretty
You-
critical in this matchup.
You just win.
Yeah.
Well, finding his, like I said, either 1-of or 2-of Nykthos, the most important part of that. Are we on Rick's turn here?
Yes. He played the Tidebinder.
What are we doing here?
Oh.
That can't be right, right?
I don't think so.
Oh boy.
I think Alec is thrilled with that, isn't he?
Yeah.
Because Rick can attack... Oh no, he's making guys unblockable. So he activated for 5 mana, bounce something, he can make something unblockable, he can kill Domri here. But I don't think that really...
No.
I mean, it's still a 4-turn clock with unblockable Thassa.
Doesn't untap.
Oh yeah, that seemed like doubly bad. I think he changed his mind halfway through the turn there.
Well, doesn't Cyclonic Rift hit all permanents?
Oh,
Yes,
he-
why don't you...
so
you
you
just pass the
could've-
turn,
yeah.
regardless of what he does, Plukernos is tapped down,
Yeah.
and then you just... But I guess if you do it that way, you open yourself up to getting...
Oh, that's a Voyaging's turn. Okay, so he tapped the Pelukrinos and then bounced it.
Yeah, but I think the way that we're talking about allows Alec to activate his Pelucranos and kill the Frostburn. Kill the Tidebinder mage, which turns off his devotion. So you'd have to Cyclonic Rift in response anyway.
Sure.
But I would still make Alec do that as opposed to, because if Alec doesn't do that, then you just untap with an overload. Yeah. Now it's going to have to deal with Garrick.
And he's -3.
Yep. So we're going to put a creature directly into play, which is Pelucranos. So scrying with. Has Rick put a card on the bottom? I don't think he has. We've watched 3 games. I'm not sure he scried one at the bottom. There was one FNM where Joseph Deal played like 9 scry lands in his Big Boros deck and never put one on the bottom.
It's activating Nykthos.
For 5. Did he draw another Rift? Or is he making things unblockable?
At this point, you just race him.
I'm fine. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I think it would be a... hit every 2-turn clock. It's not bad.
Yeah. I still like the other play we talked about better.
Well, and 2, if he would have thought more about his turn before tapping down the Pelucranos and then bouncing it, he could have tapped, kept a Voyaging Steer tapped or something, and now not have the Gruul in play.
So what are Alex out here? He needs a Domri or he needs a Mizium Mortars?
Does he run Mortars main? Or
Well,
I would assume at least more.
I think he has 2 in the board at a minimum, but I don't know his exact list. Having watched Alec play this deck for weeks, I have not seen him cast Mortars all that often. I actually can't remember a time seeing him cast one, but surely they're in his deck.
So tap it for 5.
4. He's overloading.
Oh, that's good though.
I like how Rick played that like no one.
He's hybridizationing in response.
Yeah, with it on low.
I like how Rick played that as if it was some secret, like not pumping the Frostburn weird the extra time wasn't a clear indication that he has rapid hybridization. But still,
So now
just lose.
Yeah, I think he's just dead at this point.
Yeah, I mean, hybridization seems pretty important in this matchup too.
Well, Rick's in the 2 games that Rick has been competitive in, he's drawn like multiple rifts and multiple hybridizations, and those are the most important cards in this matchup for him. So, of course, Alec had basically the nut draw. So 9 goes up to 9, drops Rick to 12. Can Alec survive this crackback?
I don't think so.
He can eat his own Pelucranos. What are we thinking
He doesn't
about?
have a mana open.
Yeah,
he
it's
does
Voyaging
use Voyaging
Savings.
Savings.
Yeah. So he has
So we're
to
shoving
he has to
one
be able
there.
to do 10, 5, 6, 7.
And Rick draws an
He can
island.
just pump this thing 3 times.
Yeah, that would be 11, right?
That's 5.
Nykthos is adding 5.
Oh.
Oh, good lord. Here we go.
Yeah, this is gonna be
Problem for Rick is he's using all of his run good in round
So
1.
he has at least 2 Nykthos.
I would not be surprised if those are only 2 Nykthos in his deck.
Yeah, should be.
So 4, 6, 11.
Make
Right?
it unblockable, pump 3 times.
Yeah.
Yep, and that's going to be enough. So off the back of some rapid hybridizing and some cyclonic rifting, Rick Pittman, and arguably the best deck in the format. Is this better than Mono Black? It just depends on what day. But that's clearly one of the best decks, right? It's one of those 2.
Yeah.
Esper's fine in the hands of the right pilot, maybe.